What's up, everybody? It's Rock Castaldo here. Good morning. Hey, everybody. I'm in my spiritual spot. I'd like to come and think here. And good morning. Good morning, Jeremiah. Good morning, everybody. You know, there's a lot of interesting things going on. A lot of, I had a little bit of a misunderstanding with someone, but it's probably for the best. And let me tell you a little bit about me is that my whole life, I've never, well, let me not say never. One time I compromised my morals and my true beliefs when I was younger. And it haunted me for a very long time. And I made a decision a long time ago never to compromise my feelings and my beliefs over making a friend or over pleasing the dark. And if I'm not allowed to speak my opinion on a platform, and it's even if it's respectively, then I'm sorry, then there's something wrong here. And if you see people out there that's always saying, oh, screw this, screw that, like, oh, the Vatican's this, the Vatican's that, although we all report about certain darkness going on, but if someone has built their whole career about exposing a certain establishment, then you gotta wonder if they're on the payroll, right? So there's an old saying that goes, if you're always yelling about how bad the king is, maybe you're on the payroll of the king. What I mean is that just by speaking about somebody, you're promoting them, keeping their name relevant, keeping their name out there, keeping all the weird stuff that goes out there up right out in the front for everybody to see. Then maybe it's the king that's paying you to do that. It's keeping you relevant, keeping you in the front view of everybody, right? So that's what I got to say about that. And I recently, voiced my opinion to a supposed friend of mine about a certain guests that were on his show. And unfortunately, and the thing is that the whole reason why he says he has guests on is to build controversy. So there's controversial topics. So, but apparently he doesn't let others comment about each other. So yeah, your whole getup is controversy, brother. So you don't allow it now all of a sudden because somebody might speak the truth about one of your associates? Come on, man, get real. See, the whole thing is that I don't play magic like that. Like, the only reason why I'm involved in magic is to fight against it, to stop it, not to promote it. And if someone is using magic to get back at people or magic to get what they want, then that is the most cowardly thing I've ever seen in my life. If you got a problem with somebody, go to them and figure it out. Like, I'll never magically attack somebody or send somebody some sort of magical attack in their sleep or try to hurt them spiritually. If I want to hurt somebody, I'll drive to their fucking house and knee them in the face. I'll ring their doorbell and punch them in the face if it's really that serious. So, and only done that once or twice in my life where I actually went and confronted somebody where because I felt like they were going to attack me first. That's one of the I don't condone violence in any way, but if you feel like you're going to get attacked by something, you run straight at it, right? Don't cower from it. You confront it. Unless it's going to put you and your family in jeopardy in some way, then you confront the problem. You don't run from it and make it worse. Unfortunately, then I guess I lost an associate over a simple little comment I made, and it's funny because the guy's wife was on my side, messaging me about how evil the people were and how she slept in one of their rooms overnight, and there was when they stayed at their house once, and there was voodoo all this everywhere, and she told me that after I mentioned that I had some sort of voodoo attack in my sleep, so I didn't even know about them being into voodoo and all that. I didn't know anything about them really too much, and but a few hours after I made a simple comment about this couple, I'm not talking about Beyond the Veil, actually, at all, Thoth. I'm not talking about Chris and Sherry at all. They're friends of mine, but it doesn't mean I approve of everything they say, but I'm not talking about Chris and Sherry at all. I'm talking about members of the Golden Dawn. I'm not going to put their names out there like that. I'm not going to promote them in any way, but it's not hard to figure out. But it's unfortunate because my friend, well, I guess he's not my friend, but one day he'll see what I'm talking about. And if not, then he's part of it then, So I see a little bit of a Dracula in him anyway, but it's okay, man. It's better off. But in the next year, you're going to see a lot of problems on this planet, and people are going to be looking for spiritual answers. And they're going to be coming to people like me, and they're going to be remembering things that I've said and other people and starting to think that I was, not so crazy. It's just that, I was even contemplating giving this all up a couple of days ago. I'm broke. I spent like every dollar I friggin' have just to fix my car. I have a child and a family to worry about. So it's like, it's hard to want to stay doing this, but it's my calling. It's my calling, and it's my duty. I feel it's my birthright to stick up against the dark, to fight the dark. So if I see someone that I consider a friend being entwined with a dark force, then I'm going to speak up. I'm not going to just say, "Oh, great guest, buddy. You're doing a great job." No, that's ass kissers that aren't really your friends that say that. I'm going to tell the person, "Wow, I see something stinks here. Something stinks in the sauce. You got some rotten meat in the sauce, brother. Some rotten meat in the gravy." So, it's just who I am, man. I'm not going to compromise my morals and my feelings to please somebody else. And when you have an open platform for people to comment, why am I any different? I can't comment because I was a guest on your show before or something like that. So I wish them all the best. I really do. I hope they all stay blessed, and I wish them all the best, but I really hope that they see the truth behind things. So that's all I'm pretty much going to say about that ever again. I don't want to bring it up anymore, really. I don't want to talk about it, but I was spiritually attacked by voodoo type entities. And not only that, but I saw this couple in my dream standing there dressed up like checkered pimps. They had like this checkered costume on, like a clown suit for a pimp. And they were standing with a very, very heinous and evil smile. So it's probably for the best that I'm not associated with these people. And, I feel like I'm going to make it in some sort of way, being able to provide for my family through my abilities and through my knowledge and through my shamanistic birthright. So I don't have to literally kill myself in labor job like I have for the last 20 years. So I'm choosing to follow my spirit. Hopefully things turn around because things are rough right now. And I come from a sort of background where if you're not sweating and doing hard work, then you're not considered a man sometimes. So it's it's rough for me to make this transition, but I have faith that it's all going to work out. And like I said, coming up in 2020, there's going to be fire all over the earth in many ways, spiritually. And then when that spiritual fire is so abundant, it turns into physical fire on our physical plane. It doesn't just invade the spiritual realms, it comes down into this realm as well, like a domino effect. And it's going to result in people looking for answers. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, but when it comes to spiritual dilemmas and spiritual sickness, this is where I, I'm a specialist in. This is what I know. This is what I've been through. This is my birthright, my calling. So nothing is going to stop me from that. I've always been a fighter. What's up, Masaki Miyagawa? What's up, my brother? Akaita's in the house from Spain. He's on vacation. I wish him the best. So, like I said, I'm not going to put any names out there or anything. If you follow my work, it's pretty easy to figure out probably. But I do wish them all the best, but I am not going to compromise my belief system and my morals. And if I see something, I'm going to call it. I'm not going to just shove it under the rug, sweep it under the rug to please somebody else. And so that is my calling. My calling has always been to fight the dark, to fight off the dark, because it's surrounded me a lot of my life. It's called me a lot of my life. It's easy to go to the dark. It's easier. It's easier to give in. Love you guys all too. Love you all. And it's so much easier to just give in. Oh, thank you so much, Angel Fire. Thank you so much. Also, people, you could support me at my PayPal on themysticalspiral.com. And if you don't want to just support me, then if you want some sort of crystals or tensor tools or some sort of spiritual tools, or if you just like crystals, or if you want a t-shirt, or if you want information, all of that is available. I also have a radio show on Saturday nights on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. And what's very interesting that I've been talking about, so that's out of the way. Let's not bring that stuff up no more. I'm not, like I said, if you're always barking about a specific person or a specific establishment, then you might be on the payroll for that establishment that you're promoting it so much. So just keep that in mind. There's, like I said, there's an old saying that if you're always trying to yell about the king, then maybe you're just on the king's payroll. Maybe you're actually working for the king. So I wish everybody the best that I'm talking about. I hope that if people are sending bad vibes to other people spiritually, then I hope they absorb those bad vibes and deal with them appropriately in the right way, instead of sending your insecurities and your guilt upon someone else. If a comment doesn't apply to you, let it fly, right? So if you work in revenge, then maybe it hit a nerve. Maybe it really did hit a nerve in some sort of way. But to be a coward and to attack someone in their sleep in dream time or spiritually is the most cowardly thing known to man. All right? That's like raping somebody in their sleep. Or, you can't get laid, so you're just going to wait till the person falls asleep and try to get it that way. Like, that's what it is. And the minute I see these people, they look like puppets, robots. They don't even look like they're thinking for themselves. And the way dark magic works is insidious, that you actually think you're part of the good. And consciously, most of these people don't even realize they're sending out spiritual attacks. Let me try to explain real quick how this works. That because of your dark workings, because of the dark magic you've already been involved with, the dark rituals you've done, you form dark attachments. So when you have a spiritual thought about somebody, when you have a bad thought about somebody, or when you're pissed off about somebody, and your mind thinks, oh, I should get this guy back, or, oh, I'm pissed at this guy, I don't like this guy, or this, because of your dark attachments, even if you don't consciously send it, because of your dark attachments, when you have those thoughts, the entities that are in your auric layers around you, your auric field that are embedded within your layers, they will attack somebody because of the thoughts that you manifested. They will be like astral familiars, little drones that activate, and they will go attack that person that you're having bad thoughts about, and they'll use it as like a barter for you. Like, look, you owe me now because I just did this for you, and it's like a feeding cycle. So even if the person isn't knowingly sending those attacks out, it's happening anyway because of their dark history, because of their dark rituals they performed and the attachments that came along with it. So they will actually be attacking persons just from the bad thoughts they got, just from having a bad thought about something or someone. It will send like little astral familiars out to attack that person spiritually, and mostly it happens when you're most vulnerable and asleep. When you're asleep and you're in the spiritual realms, your body is more vulnerable for attack. And this is what's happening. But I wanted to get deeper in today. I know my phone's about to die, so I was talking about yesterday, and tonight there will most likely be a shaman's class, even if I do it in my car or something for a little while. I'm doing a little bit of a class tonight. You guys can still subscribe. There's been 2 classes during the summer that we did. They're still available if you want. It's $79 for patrons and $99 for non-patrons. There will be more classes. The fall classes will be starting now. So the summer classes, there was 2 of them. There will be more now coming in the fall. I know forces are trying to get me to not relay my information. Really, like I was seriously even contemplating stopping all this, just, maybe just writing my book on the side and not being involved with all this stuff anymore, because it becomes a little bit of a headache, when and I have a family to worry about. So it's very interesting when we go into some of the spiritual technology that was unveiled on humanity. And so we're going to put all that other stuff aside for right now. Let's get into some of the information I wanted to talk about. Yesterday, if you guys saw my quick little video, I was talking about Jesuits that raised the dead. Now, I know people must think this, how can this be possible? Like, how does somebody possess the technology that can raise the dead, right? Well, if you look into not even the life of Jesus, let's forget about the life of Jesus for right now, because we all know from the Bible that Jesus was able to heal the blind, heal the deformed, and raise the dead. But not just his apostles were able to commit miracles like this as well. This is the ultimate spiritual forces that you're playing with here when you're able to. I mean, this is the oldest of voodoo, the oldest of dark magic, is when you can raise the dead. And they're spinning it for like it's an act of God. They're doing it for conversions, So as I'm researching about all of these saints who are able to raise the dead, and I found nearly 380 occurrences where somebody was supposedly raised from the dead by a saint. Now, of course, some of them could have been in a coma and got better. Someone could have snapped out of it. They got miraculous. Even though it's not likely, it's possible, right? So I focused on some of the ones that were really dead, that bodies that were dead and buried for days, and then they were dug up and rose from the and resurrected from the dead. Now, I've talked about, if you go on my Patreon, you'll see a whole series of articles I've done on this with pictures from my archives and all of that. That's patreon.com/the mystical spiral, where I did a whole series about St. Patrick, because St. Patrick was one of these guys. In fact, he even raised a king's daughter, two of his daughters from the dead. There was a king where his daughters had died. They were dead and buried for days. St. Patrick came on the scene. He had them dug up from the ground, and he resurrected them from the dead. And he got this technology from the ancient Druids. He got these forces from the ancient Druids. So the Jesuit that I wanted to talk about, and I did an article on my Patreon like a day or two ago about this, is St. Francis Xavier. Now, St. Francis Xavier was called the Apostle of Japan, the Apostle of other places, right? So this guy, not only did he raise a boy that was wrapped in a shroud, dead for over 24 hours, but he raised a young girl from the dead that was buried for over 3 days. She was dead and buried for 3 days. He had her dug up, and he resurrected her from the dead. Now, this guy, St. Francis Xavier, this Jesuit, he was said to have baptized over 100,000 people, but he was also said to have converted over 80,000 people to Catholicism, Christianity. You know, this is a mass conversion because of the miracles that they witnessed. So this is a manipulation of someone's soul, a harvest of somebody's soul. You're giving your soul up to the religion, right? And yeah, I don't know what the glitch is. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I don't have Netflix or anything like that. I do watch DVDs sometimes, especially with my daughter. You know, we buy DVDs a lot for my daughter, like young DVDs like that. But I watch other DVDs. I have some anime that I watch sometimes. I do watch kickboxing. You know, it's been a passion of mine for a long time, so I do tune in for kickboxing, like Glory Kickboxing and shit and stuff like that. You know, yeah, so sometimes I'll watch. I haven't watched any TV in like, you know, over 10 years. You know, like I don't have cable or anything like that. So, but yeah, so St. Francis Xavier, he was able to. I mean, there's many stories about St. Francis Xavier. Like a person had drowned, he raised that person back from the dead after they drowned. So there's a lot going on. In fact, people always tell me to watch the show Fringe too, that it's like similar to certain experiences I've had. I never even got a chance to watch that before. So man, I'm still trying to swallow the series Taken. You know, I have that box set of the Steven Spielberg Taken, and so yeah. But what was I gonna say? Had them to see what topic we're about this time, but I got Gary Wayne booked for one in November and one in December. So I'm not trying to associate myself with too many people out there, unless they have something new to talk about that I'm working